super excited. We've been pretty much off-grid for the last 3 days. 3 or 4 days. We've got 4 solar panels, 100 watts each, and it's just been producing tons of power, keeping up with all our lights, pumps, water pumps, bilge pump. It's actually keeping up with our fridge, which is super inefficient, so it's awesome. Really excited.
So this is how we weed at the marina when the weeding machine isn't keeping up with the weed. We've been really busy with lots of visitors. It's been awesome. We've had lots of people visiting us and spending time on our boat. Got to go out for a bunch of different sails. And it's just been beautiful weather other than one rainy day. So it's pretty epic. I'm loving my life right now. Actually got a little beer going on right now. You gotta enjoy a beer every once in a while. Yeah, the lime makes it better. I don't know. Especially in the summer, you know. I think we want to get started on some more projects again. So I'm starting to look into some of our solar needs because we got those new batteries in and we need a way to charge them up. So Saw Technology is where we went in Mississauga, Ontario. Right here, we got a nice pretty box. Oh, look at this solar charger. So this is our charger. We decided to go with a mppt charger. Some more cable. These are going to the 4 solar panels in this box here that I'll pull out a little later. We also got a watt meter here. This is going to allow us to see our current, our voltage, and our watts all in one little nice display rather than just having 100% to 0% kind of analog scale with the needle like we've had in the past. We're also going to have these fancy dancy 30 amp fuses. These are 30 amp breakers rather for our DC power going from our battery to our charge controller and from our charge controller to our solar panels. So these will allow us to switch the power on and off as well as trip the breaker if it goes above 30 amps. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We got some parallel connectors here. These will come in handy as well when we're putting 2 of our panels in parallel. So we're gonna have 2 sets in parallel. Essentially, well, really they're all gonna be parallel because they're all gonna be connected together. Positives to positives, negatives to negatives. Pretty. Haven't really filmed much of it because I've just been busy with other things. We ended up gearing up some of our solar just as a bit of a test for now. We'll kind of play it by ear. We wanted to see what 2 solar panels we're going to put out, but it's not really hardwired in because I didn't want to drill holes into, say, my deck or places that I wasn't sure things were going to go. So we just kind of set stuff up with 2 solar panels, our charge controller, and breakers and anything that was required to put in line with everything. And now it's working. So it's the 2 solar panels for the past, well, yesterday I turned on the charger, the shore power charger, just to see if it would bring it back up to, well, just to bring the batteries back up to full charge, because I wasn't 100% sure if the charge controller for the solar was doing it with just 2 solar panels. But so far they seem to be keeping up with the fridge. I will also put a watt meter or something that will display my current, my volts, and my amps. Sorry, my current, my volts, and my watts, and my amp hours, those sort of things. But if I want to know exactly how much my solar panel is giving me, I'll have to kind of tuck my head over by the stove here just to kind of see what we have on our charge controller. We're basically off grid. You know, we were off grid for a full 24 hours there yesterday, and now we're just running a few more tests. We're going to get those other 2 solar panels up to see if we can get our batteries totally topped up during the day, which would be ideal because you want, with AGMs, you want to top them up every so often, every 3 days or so ideally, from what I've heard. You never want to leave them at like a less than 100% charge for an extended period of time. So you might wonder why we're drilling a hole in our deck, or about to. Well, we need to run some wires, and this is the most out of the way so we don't have a tripping hazard here. Scary. We have a hole. Now I gotta drill a second hole. Whew. We're getting our other half of the solar all geared up here. I'm just cleaning my pipes. I'm just cleaning the outside of this pipe because it was a bit filthy. But the plan is to use these two pieces of pipes as a base underneath the solar panel, and then that will give it something rigid to kind of fold up on its side. So hopefully it works out. I'm trying to straighten them out now. It's not working the greatest because they were bent for a long time. Basically, I decided I don't really like the way the charge controller is down below, like I showed you, right down there. So you can see it there. It's kind of a pain in the butt. There's only this little gap here, and you're always putting your head by the stove just to see what the charge controller is putting out. And I mean, really, I don't like it there. My original plan was to mount it here. This is where the remote charge display for the onshore power is mounted. I've just installed right here I got my fuse for my main power in. Got my main power wired over to our battery bank there. Excuse the mess of wires. This has to be re-terminated. There's actually one corroded connection here that I need to deal with, and a few other little goodies that I'd like to clean up because this is a bit of a rat's nest in my mind. So we got our two positive and our positive and our negative here run through here. I ended up drilling a couple holes here to run them through. You should get maybe on some too.
So as the two other panels.
Oh, the two other panels. We have the two other panels right up here on our Dodger. They're not the most secure, but they're secure enough for us for now. We'll probably add a little more security. Like, this is our main tie point right now, but we just kind of wanted to test them out and see how they work.
Meanwhile, Corey is still working at these solar panels and drilling more holes in the hull or in the boat. I'm enjoying this lovely sunset.
The solar panels. So we got 4 100-watt solar panels here, and we're all connected. Saying we're getting right now, oh, it jumped up to 4 amps there for a second. So we're charging at 17.3. That's or 17.5. That's pretty nice. So our solar has been a success. I'm super stoked. I was a little bit I guess not apprehensive, but I really wanted to get it all hooked up because I had the solar just sitting up there doing absolutely nothing. And now we're charging. I got, as you can see up here, there's no lights on our shore power because I turned it off to let our solar do the job. So that's really awesome. Our fridge is currently going, and that should be able to keep up with it and top up our batteries at the same time. So it's super awesome. Now we're ready to pretty much, we're a little bit more self-sufficient. We can pretty much just go out and spend an undetermined amount of time, as long as we don't run out of water and food, out on the hook and out on the lakes and eventually the ocean. Getting the solar all set up here. We had to make some slight adjustments. Basically our jib line was smacking against our rail, or sorry, our lifelines here, and making our solar panels whack all about. So we're hoping just by moving them down, a couple feet, that they'll be clear of those lines and not cause us any more problems. Fingers crossed, because I don't want to rewire the whole thing. So this is how we weed at the marina when the weeding machine isn't keeping up with the weed. in the rain.
Palm trees dance.
We're just wiring up the power analyzer. It's gonna be awesome. We'll be able to see our watts, our power, and our watts, our voltage, and our current that we're using from all of our different things. You know, our fridge, our lights, anything we're using that uses DC. So I'm just stripping the wires and I'm going to solder them to this little guy because I don't know. I just feel like soldering them rather than using the little connector that I have for these four. So yeah.
Doesn't want to shrink anymore. It's too many wires. It's awkward. I've got tiny fingers. Dropped it 3 times. Oh, I'm warm.
Did you get it in?
Huh?
Did you get it in?
It's in. So now, what do I do with this one, Corey?
So that one goes. If you look at the front, you see where it says DC main.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first one, right? So there's an empty spot on the first one, and you connect it to there. I just drilled these 4 holes, and it's gonna kind of sit like that. Now we can see how much power we're drawing here, and then we can see what our solar panels are putting in up there. All right, it's on. Let's make sure. Let's turn on our DC main. Do we have any current yet? No. Let's throw on our running lights. See what we got here. Yay!
It works!
Oh god, that's way too overexposed.